market economies are what we're going to be looking at today. So first off, what are they? Well, a market economy is one in which market forces are allowed to guide the allocations of resources within a society. And in such a society, prices play a key role in this type of system. So they provide signals and incentives to producers and consumers. Now, our very famous economist, Adam Smith, really liked free market economies. He was very optimistic about them because he thought that in this economy, resources would be allocated effectively through the operation of what he called an invisible hand. So this is kind of a guidepost pointing in the direction of which we should be going. So he thought that they would guide firms to produce the goods and services that consumers wanted to consume. Karl Marx, on the other hand, another very famous economist, was pessimistic about that. Now, okay, I'm not sure if I spelled pessimistic right, but that's how I'm spelling it. But anyways, he was really against free market economies, and he thought in that such a society where there's a lot of private ownership of productive resources, the owners of capital would exploit their position at the expense of labour, eventually resulting in a revolution. So he thought the rich would exploit the poor, which would then lead to a revolution. And it didn't actually happen how Marx expected, but there was a move away in private ownership of capital towards state control of resource allocation through central planning. So he basically just thought that the rich would get richer and the poor would get poorer, which is bad for the economy because, of course, one of the main objectives of most economies is to have an equal distribution of income. Now, I haven't put it on here, but it's worth noting that the USA, which is the most successful economy in the world of the time I'm making this video, is a free market economy. So they're working very efficiently and they're a free market economy, and that would support Adam Smith's view. So let's quickly take a look at the advantages and disadvantages, because most specifications require this. So leads to competition, which can help make an economy more efficient, because competition between firms will lead to greater efficiency as firms do whatever is necessary to lower their costs. Although actually an evaluation point for this is it might mean that they just get rid of a lot of workers or they pay low wages. Although actually then you could then evaluate that point to say that, well, then workers are going to work harder to avoid losing jobs, which again is going to increase the efficiency. There's also going to be increased innovation, should have put a little plus sign there, but more of an innovation because firms are looking for new products to sell and cheaper ways to do their work. So because your economy and the free market economy becomes more competitive, you're going to have to use a lot more innovation to try and lower your costs. So that's very good for society. That means more foreign investment. If you ever see me writing I, it means investment. So foreign investment's attracted to the new opportunities for earning profit. So if they don't have it in their economy, but you can use such ideas in a free market economy, they're going to be very interested in investing here. And there's also a greater variety of consumer goods available because you can just produce whatever you want. Well, not whatever you want, but you can produce a lot more things. So for society, it's good because they've got a greater choice to choose from. And then this demand for more goods creates more jobs, which then removes the point I said over here about laying off workers because more jobs are created because of the higher demand. And I've put development of factors of production. This kind of links to innovation because if firms are looking to produce more efficiently, then they're going to have to develop their factors of production. And sorry, if I ever write FOP, it means factors of production. But to such an economy, there's also disadvantages. So as I mentioned over here, Karl Marx's view, he thought that the rich would exploit the poor, so they pay them low wages because there's less regulation. Goods and services that aren't profitable won't be run and produced, and this is quite bad because it can damage a rural community in terms of service. So where the UK is good, we've got a mixed economy. When goods aren't profitable, we do still produce them, and the government will give them subsidies, so they'll give them a bit of cash to keep them running, and that supports a local community. And it also means that there's more consumption of demerit goods. Now, demerit goods aren't good for you. And then that just means, like, for example, cigarettes. So if you can easily get more cigarettes and they're really cheap, then there's going to be a lot more smokers, which isn't good, obviously, for the health of the economy. I don't know why I haven't written it down, should have, but certain members of society won't be able to work and earn. So, for example, because it's so competitive, you want to have a really skilled workforce to try and produce really efficiently. But this means that if you're older, you've got a disability, or any kind of illness or something that will hinder your work, then it's going to be, your chance of working is going to be smaller, because they just want to get the most skilled people who can help make their company or firm more efficient. So that's another disadvantage, as it doesn't equally benefit society. Alright, I've got another video on the other types of economy, mixed economies and command economies, if you want to take a look.